Good morning, everybody. It does indeed sound like you've got a brilliant day ahead of you, so please do make the most of it. Welcome to Manchester, to Greater Manchester. This, without doubt, is the home of disruptive thinking, of forward thinking. It's always been the way in the past. It's an overused quote, but I will use it again. The late, great Tony Wilson said, "This is Manchester. We do things differently here." And how right he was about that. Disruptive thinking, we've always been pioneers of social innovation. So next year, 2018, marks the centenary of women's suffrage, a movement which grew out of Moss Side. And it also marks 150 years of the trade union movement, founded right here in city centre Manchester. So as you can see, a long tradition of disruptive thinking in terms of social progress. But it's also true in terms of music. We've been always innovators on the music scene, in sport, and the changes you've seen in sport, led often by this great city. But as you will all know, you are just yards away from where Mr. Rolls met Mr. Royce. And that seems to me to be the perfect anecdote to draw inspiration from as you gather here today. How, again, we might find a modern equivalent where the modern day Mr. Rolls or Mrs. Rolls might meet the modern day Mr. or Mrs. Royce, where a new partnership may be formed by the people sitting in this room today to drive innovation further forward. Because this, again, has also been the home of industrial innovation and disruption through its history. The first computer, graphene, and all of the incredible developments that we've seen there. Manchester continues to break the mould and continues to set new horizons, and we hope to continue that in the future. And that is what this event is all about. And I want to give the warmest of welcomes to you all, and thank the Business Growth Hub for pulling it together. We have an infrastructure here in Greater Manchester to support innovation, to support disruption, and of course to support entrepreneurial activity to build the prosperity of Greater Manchester going forward. We do, and we are seeing more business startups here, but we know we've also got a challenge. We like to pat ourselves on the back, and I've just been doing that for a few minutes. But let's be honest, we want to go further here as well. You know, there aren't as many businesses started in Greater Manchester as other parts of the country. And why is that? Well, I think it is to do with our history. It's deep in the DNA of people in parts of Greater Manchester that in their working lives they expect to be employees and not employers. I think that comes from the history, particularly of those big industrial towns that surround Greater Manchester, particularly to the north. And that culture remains. Young people still might think they expect to work for somebody rather than be somebody who might run their own business and employ people. And we want to change that culture. We want to create a vibrant economy here, which sends out the message to everybody who lives here that anything is possible. And that's what we want to be going forward. A place of not just business startup, but also a place where businesses can grow. And I would say as Mayor, I think that is something we've got to get better at. You know, create that environment where we support businesses individually rather than giving a one-size-fits-all approach that maybe isn't right for them. And I know the Business Growth Hub already have a strong infrastructure to support business development and growth, but I think we can probably get better at it. I want to see those startups become medium-sized industries, larger industries. I'm off to visit one just after this, UK Fast, a company we're very proud of in Greater Manchester, but we need to see more of that. Our own companies, our own innovators, our own pioneers being supported on that journey, recognising that still the financial sector in this country isn't necessarily supporting them. It is still too short-term in its thinking. It wants those returns on loans just at the moment where businesses have kind of gone past the startup stage and need to invest to expand, and sometimes they aren't given that help and support. Well, we need to work with them, but also provide more support ourselves through the funds that the GM Combined Authority has at its disposal. So I want you to know you're in a place here that is supportive of what you are trying to do. So we do need to do that greater effort to support businesses as they develop. But I would also want to stress that I would love to see a stronger relationship between business and our universities, many of whom represented here today. And already there is a strong partnership. We see it in the Sir Henry Royce Institute, of course, in the National Graphene Institute, through all of our expertise in life sciences and the Academic Health Research Centre here, the only one outside of the South East. So we have got the ingredients, and there is good work going. But it seems to me, to build the 21st century economy that we want to see here, it will be based around clusters between universities, businesses, big and small, backed by the public sector. And that's what we want to encourage. So in those key sectors like digital, I want to see new thinking come through. I've already held a digital summit as Mayor of Greater Manchester. That happened earlier in the summer. And this is an opportunity that devolution brings. I don't want to go to an event like that and list all the things that I'm going to do. What I would rather do is let those who know write the policy for how we're going to drive the digital and tech sector forward here in Greater Manchester. It's my job, it seems to me, to set the ambition. And I've done that. I've said I want Greater Manchester to be the UK's leading digital city region within the next 5 years. But then it's also then right to say, but help me get there. You write the plan, and let's do that together so that we can involve more people in the setting of the policies that are going to help us all of us, achieve our collective ambitions. So you're in the right city at the right time. You know, devolution of power for the first time in England and the creation of mayors like myself is a moment when we can really usher in some new thinking. And we need to make the most of this opportunity. If Greater Manchester has more power, it is a chance for that disruptive spirit, for the voice and the values of the people of Greater Manchester to be heard more loudly than ever before and to shape policy in a way that we've never been able to shape before. Here we have the most extensive devolution deal of anywhere in the country. Covers areas like transport, planning, housing, but also health, policing. You know, we have the ability here to break down the silos, to forge new partnerships, not just in the way public services are delivered, but also in terms of the partnership between public and private sector. And that is what I want to encourage as Mayor, that when people look around the UK for where the new thinking is taking place, I want to ensure that they always think it's here, it's Greater Manchester. And I think that spirit is already being recognised. We've lived in a country for too long where things have been too London-centric, in my view. A political system that is all about those who live within the M25. And this is our moment to challenge that, to change that, and show that more positive change for the better can come from the bottom up. So what I want you to feel today is feel some of the energy that's going around Greater Manchester at the moment. You know, this is a moment to break with the past and say, right, if Manchester likes doing things differently, surely now it's got the chance to do that on a scale that we've never had before. And the more that we all come together and work towards shared goals, the more that we will achieve that and build the future prosperity of Greater Manchester. I do want to see that culture change. I do want more young people growing up here to feel that they can run their own businesses, that they can be the innovators and the entrepreneurs of the future. I do want to see more business startups based in schools to kind of change that culture of how young people feel about business and innovation. You know, we need to bring that to them, to give them that hope. But we also need to give them role models. And this is where you fit in. As people passionate like us about Greater Manchester, about the northwest of England, we need you to forge those new partnerships, develop those new ideas that will then inspire the next generation. So you know, we can do this together, and if ever there was a time to do it, then clearly, surely it is right now. Right now. This is our moment. It's time for Greater Manchester to make the most of it, but I hope too it's time for you to fulfil your own potential and your own ideas for your own organisations. Good luck to all of those who are bidding for funds today. I want to spend a moment just thanking everyone who's helped bring this together, the Business Hub, but also Innovate UK, who've had a relationship with us to help us build this into the event that it is, our universities, everybody who's given their time, all of the entrepreneurs and investors who are here today. Make the most of it. Let's make this a moment of change, and let's build a dynamic, forward-looking Greater Manchester for the future. Thank you very much, everybody.